Welcome to Garden of Lights. I'm Susan Howington, Family Consumer Science Agent with the Henry County Cooperative Extension, partnership with the University of Georgia. Today we have a great show for you. We're going to be talking about black-eyed peas, and I'm going to be making a zesty black-eyed pea salad. It is going to be an easy recipe, and I know you're going to like it. And Frank Hancock, our Agriculture and Natural Resource Agent, is going to be talking more about soil and getting you ready for the fall. We'll see you back in just a little bit. Welcome back to Garden of Lights. We're going to have a great show for you today, and we're going to talk about black-eyed peas. We're going to make a zesty black-eyed pea salad, but I want to talk a little bit about the black-eyed peas. We say peas, but they're really beans, and they're a great source of fiber. So, you know, when we're talking about the nutrition part of our beans or any kind of vegetables, think about how great the nutrients we're going to get from whatever we're eating. But the black-eyed peas are a great source of our fiber. They're also a great source of the B vitamin, which is a very good vitamin that we need to make sure. B1 exactly is what the vitamin I'm looking for as far as what's in these peas. And also they are a great source of potassium. They are great sources of minerals in them. We are also looking at low sodium, low fat, cholesterol free. All these to me play a big part in making these a very healthy part of our diet. So I hope if you haven't been eating black-eyed peas anytime soon, you put them into your diet pretty soon because they're so good for you. About a half a cup is around, you know, guesstimate around 70 or so, but if you eat a cup, and that's about the average if we're going to eat peas, is about a cup. So you're eating around 130 calories, which is still not bad because I said it was like low fat, low sodium, cholesterol free. The good thing about the fiber, it also reduces our cholesterol, and it also helps with our blood sugar. So that's a good thing about these peas also, is the fiber part of it. The peas, when you're going to select your peas in the grocery store, for our recipe today, we chose canned black-eyed peas. And of course, I did choose the ones that are very low in sodium. And so you want to look at that because the cans that you buy in the store, you need to look at the sodium part because some of them are going to be very high in sodium. And if you're trying to keep your sodium down, you want to look for cans that say no sodium or low sodium. Now, if you want to go even further with that, you could buy the dried beans. That way you have your own way of cooking those dried beans. You know what's in them, and you also know that you're keeping them low in sodium. So you could do the dry beans, and you have to go through the process of cooking them and dry, you know, as far as soaking and going through the process, so it'll take a little bit longer. But for today, we're speeding it up just a little bit by using the canned black-eyed peas. So that's what you want to look for as far as when you're selecting those. Now, when you're storing those, you want to make sure that you keep your cans in a cool, dry place in your home, but also when you're buying dried beans, look at them real close, and usually they're in a plastic bag that's clear where you can see through them. Make sure you have good beans that are intact. You don't have a lot of split half-in beans because that tells you maybe the beans have been dropped. Also, you want to make sure you don't see any shriveled beans because if you do, that means that maybe they've gone too far with the drying part of it, and they won't be as good when you're soaking them, getting them ready for your whatever you're going to cook them for. So when you're doing the storage part of it, that's very important when you're selecting those peas when they're dry. And so those are good things to think about. Also, just remember that put some beans into your diet because they're such a great source for us as far as our fiber, and they're also a great source of potassium and other good nutrients that we need in our body. And we're always looking for cholesterol free, at least I am, so just think about that also with your black-eyed peas. Just from that, we know people hear about black-eyed peas, and they always think about New Year's and bringing in the new year, and it's going to be good luck. But you know, black-eyed peas need to be thought about all year round because they're such a good source. So when you're thinking in the new year and you think about black-eyed peas, think about how you can also incorporate them through the year as far as a good source for your nutrients and nutrition for you too. We'll see you back in just a little bit, and we're going to talk more about how to make that zesty black-eyed pea salad.
Today we're going to talk about mixing up some growing material. I get a lot of calls from people wanting to know how they should amend their soil to grow various plants. And I got to tell you, there's probably 1,000 different formulas you can find about what the best potting mix might be. But I tend to like to use a little bit of dirt in my potting mix. So the problem with that is, as you know, where we live, our dirt is got a lot of clay in it. And so even though this is pretty good soil here, the clay content is such that it's going to be, it will leave a hard crust. It'll be hard to be penetrated by the water. In fact, in some of our garden situations, you can decide if you want to grow something or make bricks. So this is some of this same soil that add a little moisture to it, and it turns out this way. So that's not good for growing plants. And so we're going to make some amendments to this soil. And I'm just going to mix up a pot full here to show you how you could do this. You can do it on whatever scale you'd like to do it on. But what I've got here is some screen topsoil that we're going to use. So I'm going to add some topsoil into this container right here, and pick out a couple of rocks I had blocking the holes in that. And then I'm gonna mix this up good, get out anything in it that I don't want to be there. Like I think that's another little rock right there. Everything else though breaks up pretty good, another little rock. So I get this mixed up. Now to that, I'm going to add some vermiculite. So about the same volume of vermiculite that I've got soil, and we'll mix all that in good and get ready to do this mix. Now I'm also going to cut it with a little bit of sphagnum peat moss. Sphagnum peat moss has a low pH, so when you use sphagnum peat moss, you got to be sure that you've got that you add enough lime to the mixture so that you can. But sphagnum peat moss absorbs a lot of water. It holds a lot of water. So now I've got my vermiculite, I've got my sphagnum peat moss, and then to that I'm going to add a little bit of compost. I've got some composted horse manure here that we're going to add to that. A couple of little things to get out of it there. So we're going to add that. So I've got my soil, which gives me a little better base. When you use the regular potting soil, especially if you're going to grow your plants outside when you get finished, the dirt that we put in here gives it a little more consistency. It holds a little more water. Water doesn't just run through it immediately, and so that's our base soil. So we got about equal parts of soil, composted manure, vermiculite, and peat moss. That's what we're using for our base soil here. Now to that, I'm going to add some other ingredients here. I'm going to put a little bit of kelp in here. Kelp has a lot of amino acids, vitamins, micronutrients in it that the soil needs. So a little kelp meal. We'll add that in. In fact, I'm putting 1 tablespoonful of kelp meal in this that fits this. This pot right here is about 2/3 of a cubic foot is what it holds, and so next I'm going to add a little bit of blood meal to it. Blood meal is about 12% protein. It's medium to fast, and it's in the way it dissolves and the way it gets used by the plant. So we'll sprinkle us a little bit of blood meal in here. Potassium sulfate. Potassium sulfate is about 51% potassium, so it adds a lot of potassium. Potassium is needed just for the overall health of the plant, the fruiting, just the general health of the plant. And so we're going to put this in here. Also, I'm putting a half a tablespoon of that in here because it's pretty powerful stuff as far as potassium is concerned. Then we're going to go with a little feather meal. I got to go take some lessons from Susan about how to keep these ingredients straight. See, so all right, I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of feather meal. Feather meal is a medium to slow release kind of fertilizer. It's 13% nitrogen, so it's adding some nitrogen to the mix. Then we're going to put us a little dolomitic limestone in here. I told you that adding sphagnum peat moss to the mixture is going to bring the pH down if you're not careful. Although the vermiculite has a normal pH up around 7, sphagnum peat moss can be down 5. So we're going to put a little dolomitic limestone. I'm putting 2 tablespoons of dolomitic limestone in here just to try to control that pH. Put a little gypsum in here. Gypsum is going to add some calcium. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of gypsum into the mix. It adds calcium, but it doesn't have any effect on the pH of the mixture. And then the last thing I'm going to put in here is some soft rock phosphate. It's medium to slow release. It's like a 020. It has about half the value of lime if you were trying to change the pH there. So, all right, so that's what I'm adding to this mixture right here. Now I'm going to mix it up and try to work it in good. And you can kind of see maybe what that looks like there as we start getting it mixed up. What we're trying to do is put enough nutrients in here for this thing to grow a plant from start to finish without me having to do anything else to it. So I want it to have enough nutrients to do that. Now I'm going to take my pot and I'm going to add, this particular pot's got big holes in the bottom of it is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing next. So water can run through it pretty regularly and wash out some of my soil mixture. So I'm going to add some rocks in the bottom to kind of still let some moisture run out, but not as freely as it would be doing otherwise. So once we get that done, now I'm ready to take this mixture. If I can do it here without making too big a mess, I'm gonna put it in here. Let me see if I can't just pour this in here so you get to witness this on TV if I spill all my dirt. Okay, so we have mixed up a pot full of soil here that should have all the ingredients in it that it needs to grow a plant. And the last batch that we made, I did a soil test on, and as you see from this soil test, all of the major ingredients are above the line. The pH was 6.3, so all of that is good to grow. If I was going to start a tomato plant in here, whatever I wanted to grow in here, I've got all the ingredients in there that I need, and I've got a soil consistency that's going to absorb enough moisture, give the root base a firm enough place to stand, not going to turn into a brick like we talked about earlier. So I've got I've got two plants down here on the end that if you can follow me down here to the end, this plant right here is planted in that mixture. This plant right here is planted in the composted horse manure and the dirt, so it's a little firmer on top than that is. We put some 10-10-10 on this plant. This plant is growing in that mixture we just mixed up. Not a whole lot of difference. They've been there for a couple of weeks, but you can see that this plant right here is putting on just a little bit more growth. It's a little bit happier than this one on this side is. So that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish here, is to get the right mixture. Gonna have to do a soil test on it to find out exactly what we mixed up, especially if you start growing it building it up in bigger quantities. Have to do a little calculation, but that is what we mean when we talk about amending the soil. This would be an organic mixture. However, my soil is not organic that I started with, so it wouldn't be something you could have certified organic, but there's nothing in here that's not approved to be used as organic. I'm gonna do a soil sample on that one. I'll probably let it sit for a few days, wet it down some and let it settle down before I do the soil test on it, but I'm looking for it to be very similar to the one we did on this pot right here. I learned how to do this from Susan because I got all these little cups and all my ingredients and my teaspoon of this, teaspoon of that. So I feel like what I should tell you is, you know, put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes and then throw it away and eat whatever was growing in it. So let's go see what Susan's up to.
We're talking about black-eyed peas, and we're going to be making zesty black-eyed pea salad. And I think it's going to be an easy recipe for you, but not only that, but I know you're going to like it. So let's start off with it. It's very, very simple. We took 2 cans of about 15-ounce cans each of black-eyed peas, and what you have to do is you've got to drain those black-eyed peas, and then you've got to rinse them off. So I've drained them and I've rinsed them off, and so they're ready here in the bowl. It's hard not to want to eat them right now. Then you also, in the recipe, have to have a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes, and I chose the petite diced tomatoes because I want them a little bit finer, but you could get just the regular diced tomatoes and it would work just as fine. And then also you're going to need a 15-ounce can of corn, and I chose the corn that has a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow, and you could go all white or you go all yellow, either way, but I just wanted a little bit more festive on the look. And also I've already chopped up 2 tablespoons of finely chopped onions, so make sure they're finely chopped, so people that may not like onions, they really won't know what's in there, hopefully. And then also you need a tablespoon of minced garlic, so I have that already. And then just to make it that zesty taste that we're looking for, we're also going to incorporate a ½ cup of reduced Italian dressing that we'll add to it. But one thing that I left out that we haven't added yet is you need 1/4 cup of a bell pepper. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that up, and you're going to see I'm just going to barely cut the sides of this bell pepper off because my goal is to try to avoid getting the seeds. And I'm going to save this bell pepper for later. So I'm going to go ahead and chop it up, and I'm going to chop the bell pepper up also very small because some people, they don't like bell pepper. And I will tell you, one person in particular is my husband. He doesn't like bell pepper. I think he likes it mostly if it's cooked, but when it comes raw, he's probably not going to taste it. So sometimes I may leave the bell pepper out. So it's really up to you as far as that. And you can see that I only took just a little bit of that bell pepper because I know once I start chopping that this is going to add up real quickly to fill this 1/4 cup up. So I'm going to go ahead and dice these up, and I'm going to try my best to keep it really, really small. But I like it because it does give a little color to it, and I think that's important. Another thing I want to tell you too, if you like green onions, that's another way to kind of zest it up too, is to take green onions and use those instead of just a regular onion. So if you don't want to put the bell peppers and you want the color, you could put some green onions, which would really make it really tasty, but also give it that green look too that you're looking for. Now, this is a zesty salad, but I don't know about you, but I'm a big football person, so I love going to football games, and I love trying new things when I'm tailgating, because it's just fun. And so I was thinking while I was making this that it would be ideal if we had some chips to go with this, so I could have some chips with this salsa, like a salsa instead of it like a salad. So that's another way to eat this also. And you know, black-eyed peas are really good in Creos too. So when you're making soups or other things in the winter months, think about your black-eyed peas. And I'm hoping this is going to add up to about what I need right here. And I meant to get my scoop, but I don't have it. So we're going to just go with this. And this is going to equal up to that 1/4 of a cup that I need. And I'm going to end up putting this other back in the refrigerator because I may want to make the salad again. So I have my 1/4 a cup of bell pepper, and so that was chopped up, and I try to chop it up really fine because I just like everything kind of fine. So we're going to put this together now, and I'm just going to move this to the side. And we got one last step to finish this recipe up, but right now we're going to just put all the ingredients together. So we have our two cans of black-eyed peas. I have a can of corn. And when you're mixing this, you don't want to overmix it because you want to keep your beans as intact as much as possible. Here's our can of tomatoes. And they have been drained too, but they have not been rinsed, but they have been drained because I don't want a lot of liquid to this. The only liquid I really want is the Italian dressing. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the bell pepper. And we're going to add some onions, which is 2 tablespoons, and a little bit of that garlic, which is 1 tablespoon. And I love garlic, so anytime I can add garlic to a recipe, I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix this up a little bit because I want to kind of mix it before I put the, oh, and if you could smell it right now, I smell the garlic. I love garlic. And I've been wanting to put garlic in our garden, so this is my first year that I finally have put garlic in our garden. I remember growing up and my grandmother having it all around the house and thinking one day I'm going to do this. And I finally have broke loose and we have planted some garlic in our garden. So I'm excited about that because you can use it in so many things and make it taste so good. If you could smell this, it smells great. And it's so colorful right now. So you can see you got the little bit of green that you're showing. And that's the bell pepper. And the recipe will tell you that this is a 1/2 cup of the reduced dressing, so I'm going to go ahead and add it, and we're going to mix it up. And I'm just going to kind of go around just to make sure it doesn't, I'm going to mix it up. And this recipe is even better if you can leave it in your refrigerator for about a couple hours because then it just marinates all the good taste of the garlic, the Italian dressing, all this kind of mixes together and it just tastes even better if you can let it sit in your refrigerator. Some people may just want to go ahead and eat it, which is fine, but I do know that the longer you set it in the refrigerator and let it marinate together, it's even better. So that looks all mixed up. And doesn't this look good? You could take this and put it, you could even make a salad and put it on top of a salad. Like I said, the chips would be a great way to finish this out as far as a dip. The last thing that you want to do is you're going to want to add a little bit of lemon pepper, and we're going to do that now. That's just sprinkling it on the top. So we're not going to put a whole lot, but I'm just going to sprinkle it on the top. Just gives a little bit of look for the top of it, gives a little flavor also. And so you just want to add, and it's going to tell you on the recipe just to add a little sprinkle of the lemon pepper. I know you're going to like this. Very easy. Just remember, so nutritional for you, all these great vegetables mixed together. When we come back, Frank Hancock is going to come back and join us and taste this zesty black-eyed pea salad. Welcome back to Garden Delights. We have Frank with us, and we're going to try our zesty black-eyed pea salad. Frank, I know you're going to like this.
It's my favorite part of the show. You know, black-eyed peas are pretty good. You know, you can dry them out, and they'll keep even if the electricity goes off. You can have black-eyed peas.
You can.
You're supposed to eat them New Year's to bring you good luck.
Look, good luck. But you know what? I was telling everybody, don't just wait till New Year's. Eat good luck all year round.
That's right. That's my motto. Will you fix it, I eat it. I don't even look at the calendar before I do this.
There you go. That's a good attitude. Good attitude. All right. It smells good. Of course, it has a lot of garlic in it, so you know me, I love my garlic.
It's good.
That's pretty good. Very tasty. It's very zesty if you want to see something zesty.
That's
it's
what
very
I was
good.
going to say.
I knew you were going to say that, Frank.
It may not be quite as good as the dirt that I made this morning, but it's good.
Just a little bit better than that dirt?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's pretty good. Just if you're interested, look on that website and find this recipe because I know you're going to like it. And try that black-eyed pea salad, and you'll have a little zesty to it with that salad dressing. And we'll see you next time on Garden Delights.
And good luck. They'll have good luck.
That's right.